الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح لهذه الأمة فتركها عبدا ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. وارض اللهم عن سادتنا أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن الصحابة أجمعين وعن التابعين والتابعين بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Today, I'm going to share with you a hadith. And I want you to listen to it, not with your ears, but with your heart. And from this hadith, we will learn a couple of things. And Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-As said, the Prophet Muhammad one day came to his companions, and he said to them, who among the beings that Allah has created is the most that you are amazed by their faith and their iman? So the companions of the Prophet Muhammad answered. They said, the angels. So the Prophet Muhammad said, but the angels have to act that way, because they are in the heavens and they serve Allah. This is a normal behavior of them. So the companion said, perhaps it is the prophets and the messengers. So the Prophet Muhammad said, the prophets and the messengers, they are revealed upon them. Therefore, their faith normally has to be at that level. So they said, the companions, they said, perhaps it is us, the companions of the Prophet Muhammad So the Prophet Muhammad said to them, I live among you. So therefore, it is normal that your faith is at that level. Then they said, whom do you mean, Ya Rasulullah? He said, I am amazed at people who are at a level of faith, who will come after you and they believe in the book of Allah without seeing me. This is an award, I could say, from the Prophet Muhammad praising us who did not live with him, who did not shake hands with him, who did not live with his companions, who did not attend any of the speeches of the Prophet Muhammad or the companions of the Prophet Muhammad who only had the book of Allah and
ﷺ. Yet they stand up at the time with strong belief in their deen. And notice what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, that he himself is amazed at their level of faith, regardless of what the companions of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said about the angels. Then he said, no, it's not the angels. The prophets, he said, not the prophets. It is those people. This praise by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gives us the comfort. This praise of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gives us the energy and the willpower to continue with our Islam and with the message of Islam, and knowing for sure our level of faith is higher than all what he mentioned. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال سمع رسول الله, he heard the Prophet Muhammad, Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه said, he heard the Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم when they said, I am to you, or I am as the Prophet to the people, is like a person who lit a fire, and the flames of that fire, as the flames became bigger, the butterflies during the night started flying towards the flames. And that flame attracted them. And these butterflies were deceived by the flame because of the light and got burned in that flame. And a man stood up by that flame to push them away from falling into the flame and burning themselves in the fire. He said, I am that man who protects you and prevents you from falling into that deceiving fire. Imam al-Nawawi elaborates on that hadith. And he said, the hadith is a metaphor that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has used, where he has given the description for those who disobey the commands of Islam and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ are these butterflies who are deceived. And these butterflies, they fly towards the flame, they are deceived by the light of the flame, yet they get burned by it. And those who are deceived by this life are burned in the hereafter for not following the commands of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And yet the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, his message was there to prevent you from falling into the eternal hellfire. In other words, a person who is deeply involved in the wrongful desires that are against the teachings of Islam and against the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and what the Book of Allah has told us to do, and falling into the forbidden haram, is a person has reached the level of ignorance, the same level of a butterfly. He does not know what is right, what is wrong for him. Yet, the butterfly's end, as it dies in the fire, is better than that person who, by his actions, by not following the commands of Allah and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, put himself in the eternal hellfire. Imam al-Ghazali gives a description of that. He said, the ignorance of a human being is even worse than the ignorance of a simple butterfly that is deceived by the light of the fire. Because the butterfly, by its brain, its simple brain, thought that this light was basically a light, not knowing that there was heat in it. So the butterfly died immediately. But when a human being knows there is a wrongful act in the Quran and in the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, yet he insists on doing that, and he fades into it, and he insists on indulging himself in the desires that are wrongful in this deen, and he knows it is wrong, he puts himself in the eternal hellfire in the hereafter. It might take a very long period of time before a person leaves hellfire, or he might remain in hellfire till eternity. This hadith shows how much the mercy of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is there to save us and mankind from falling into the eternal hellfire. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, your life that you live is based on your actions, on your thoughts. It reflects the daily life that you live. Your life is a limited amount of breaths that you take, that they diminish every day till the day you die. Isn't that a reminder and a wake-up call for those who wish to be guided by the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and by Islam, to really wake up and take things seriously and take command of their life and follow the footsteps of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and get his protection from being deceived and falling in the eternal hellfire. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim talks about that case, where there is a conflict between the person's knowledge and his behavior. And he set a question for himself. He said, I am amazed. How could a person live in that conflict when he knows that his end is towards heaven or to hell? And what are the actions that lead to the eternal hellfire, and what actions lead towards heaven? Yet, his actions are different from what he knows. He said, I'm surprised in the human nature, where if a person knows, for example, that tomorrow he is meeting the ruler, or the Amir, or the king, and that appointment that is going to be tomorrow, he will be either be rewarded based on his good actions or punished based on his bad actions. He said, would that person, the night before the meeting, would spend it wasting his time, not anticipating what will happen the next day? He said, the same way the wrongful understanding happens. No one in our nature would behave that way. When you anticipate there is a very important event, either a reward or a punishment, you would take serious action to avoid the punishment and gain the reward. So why wouldn't that person, when he knows that in the hereafter there is a reward and the punishment, he does not prepare himself for that action? This means that a person has to have moments with himself to review himself and his actions based on what he knows and the reality of his actions, what they are.